Okay, good morning. So according to our own class agreement, we're going to distribute the sign-up sheet. Okay. So for anybody, of course, everybody is already here. If you, in the next time, if you come late, you just remember before you leave, you need to sign it. Otherwise, we will count you as not attended this course. Okay. And also, we give 3 grace period. Simply says, if you miss total 3, we will not give you points off. Otherwise, for every missing course, we will deduce 0.3. So total you miss, you miss 10 courses. I mean, after this three grace period, if you miss 10 courses, you get a maximum of 3 points off. Okay, but 3 points is not too small because you think about the whole class is quite competitive. Okay, if you really miss the total 3, you may downgrade your grade points by 1, maybe from A to A minus or something like this. So it should be serious. Okay, so our process, you sign your name, not just to check it. Okay, because you can check it for your friends. Even he or she did not attend the course. You sign your name. We'll keep this as a record. You just sign your own name. Don't sign your name, the name for your friends. Okay. So you just pass around. Okay. It is alphabetically sorted. So in principle, it's easy to find your names. Another thing I should announce is we got quite a few students started, already very good, already give a volunteer presenting of the lectures. I probably should put it back here. If you look at the presentation, I put it on this column. Okay, you probably see I got quite a few students already put it on different dates. They have presentation topics. They send me emails of the papers or slides they want to present. I checked it. I think the students who found those papers are really good. It's not covered in this lecture, but it's very closely related. So because we have limited spots, I really hope more people can volunteer. You can read through the papers, find some good ones. You can discuss with me during my office hours, so you can settle down. We will gradually fill up this one. Remember, we only have limited spots. We have less spots than the number of students in this class. Okay? Not everyone will get a chance to present. But if you present, either it will replace your survey report, or we take a better score, either survey or presentation, put in as your final score, okay, for the presentation part. So make sure you start early so you can sign up all these different spots. I think so far we got 3 students already signed up. I hope we get more people sign up. Okay. So this is about the class. Okay, you make sure. For anybody come late, I just said about a sign-up sheet. Okay, you don't miss your sign-up when you exit if you already passed through the sign-up sheet. Okay. So last time we discussed about my keynote speech. Essentially, the speech is sort of reflecting the compressed or highly compressed version of our class. Okay. So last time I mentioned we want to turn the unstructured data into structured networks. Okay. The first most important thing is unstructured data. A lot of them are unstructured text data. That's the reason we want to work on the text mining. Okay. So for text mining, the first important thing for text mining is we want to get phrases recognized. Okay. Why we want to get phrases recognized? Just because the individual words usually did not give you the complete semantic unit. Okay, for example, like last time I said, United. Okay, you do not know what do I mean United, but if I say United Airline or United States, you probably will get much better meaning. It's not ambiguous anymore. Okay. Then previously there were quite a few researchers working on how to turn, for example, topic model, how to turn into phrase-based topic model. That means you want to identify different topics. Okay. Those topics you want not inside the topic, everyone just a single word. You want put them as phrases. Okay. And people actually propose called bi-topic model or topic n-gram model or phrase discovering topic model. The general philosophy is when you do topic modeling, you not only try single word, you actually try to check every possible two, we call bigram, that means two words together, or n-gram, that means n words together, 3 or 4 words together. You try all those possibilities to see whether they form good topics. Okay. But you probably can see this is very expensive because you think about it, you get a long sentence, you try to check every possible bigram or n-gram. Actually, there are so many possibilities in a large document. Okay. If you get tons of documents, it takes a long time. Plus, some consecutive, 2 words together does not really make sense. So you try those things, it just wastes your time. Sometimes it creates more noise. So the quality may not be as good as well. Okay. Then there are some proposals saying, I first do single word, I do topic model. That means I cluster those things in the same topic. Then I try to combine them into bigram or n-grams. Okay, there's a lot of proposals on this. Probably some actually related to, I should say related to UIC, is this May actually, he got a PhD in UIC, now he's a professor in Michigan. And Lafferty actually was Professor Chai's advisor, okay, a very famous one in CMU, now in University of Chicago. They actually propose some, first do topic model, then try to combine them as phrases. But the problem is usually when you split a topic, you split many topics, like 100 different topics. Okay. It's very likely you may split some valuable things into different topics. For example, okay, knowledge discovery. This, in principle, is one phrase. But very likely, you may split knowledge into one topic, discovery into another. Then you will never be able to find knowledge discovery because you try to combine the words in the same topic. They are not in the same topic anymore, right? The same thing if you look at this. If support vector machine, you put a vector into another topic, for example, algebra, okay, or some physics. Then support vector machine, you will never be able to find it in AI or in some kind of topics like classification or mathematics, right? So there are some inherent problems. You first do topic modeling. Okay. Actually, just last year, our group got 2 papers which are very interesting. One is by Ahmed Erkishki. Okay. He worked out one without anybody trained. He worked out topic called top mine. Is first do phrase mining, then do topic modeling. And he shows it's very powerful. Okay. Then another one was done by Jialu Liu, published in Sigmod, was called sec phrase. That means get some training into the whole process. Then the mining can be somewhat more informed. I'm going to briefly introduce these 2 methods. You probably see why this method could be simple, but also could be pretty powerful. Okay. The first one I introduced is Top Mine by Erkishki, published in last year, VRDB 2015. Okay. The general idea is pretty straightforward. Is first we do phrase construction, then we do topic modeling. Okay. Actually, it compares with our previous. We got Chi Wang and Marina Danilevsky, who both of them got PhD here. They got one. It's just a refined. Is doing the topic model, then do phrase mining. It's kind of a more refined method comparing to May and Bly's method. But here you probably can see. I'm going to show you something you probably will find it's very interesting. Okay. The first most important thing I just show you this like a bear curve. Everybody say, I know this. In basic statistics, we know, if you find the center, the mean point, okay, then you try to say anything 3 standard deviation away, okay, like a 3 sigma away from this mean. Actually, this one, by statistically, if you really get normal distribution, it's only 0.3% chance you can go over 3 standard deviation away, right? So some people call this one is z-score. If this score is greater than 3, basically it's almost impossible. It's an outlier because it's 0.3% go beyond that point, okay? No matter it's positive or negative. Okay? We know this in basic statistics, right? Now, if we do very similar calculation, we will be able to find phrases. Okay, you just look at this. Suppose we want to get support vector machine as a phrase. Okay, how do you do it? You go through the text. Here we just go through the titles of the computer science publications in DBRP. Okay, we go through the title. You probably see you will find a single word like support or vector or machine. Single word, you will find something. Okay. Then you probably can see what's the probability support will appear. What's the probability vector will appear. Okay. So just give you a simple example. Suppose support appears 0.1%. Okay. And vector appears 0.1%. What's the chance of these two getting together? Okay. This, just by probability, these two getting together is 1 over a million, right? So you can count those number of, the titles, see what's the chance. If you find this chance is far more than 1 over a million, that simply says this actually is some standard deviation away from the chance, right? So if you calculate this, actually he uses significance score, which was done by Church in 1991, which is very similar. You just look at this formula, you will find it's very similar to the z-score, okay, the standard deviation way. Because you can see this is the mu. This essentially is minus the mean point, right? So you get this. You can see the support vector machine, based on his calculation, is almost like 12 standard deviation way. That simply says, if this alpha value is 12, this is not by chance. It must be, they are phrases. They appear so frequent together, they glue together. Okay. Then, even you glue support vector machine together like one single word. Then you look at this machine. That means you look at support vector machine. Okay. You find that even I glue these two together, I try to glue machine together again, I found the chance actually is 8 standard deviation away. That simply says it's not by chance. They should be together. They should be a phrase, right? It's that simple. Just counting. Okay. Just count every one and count them together. What's the chance? Okay. And how to count it? In data mining, we call frequent pattern mining. Actually, it's very simple. The simplest thing you can find in the frequent pattern mining algorithm. Just finding like a 2 together, 3 together, 4 together, what's the chance? Okay. So it's a very, very fast algorithm. Okay. Then you get this. You probably can calculate this. There's one thing I probably should mention is this. Okay. You look at this title called Markov Blanket Feature Selection for Support Vector Machine. You may notice, or you may not, you may try to destroy this algorithm, said this, wait. Okay. I found lots of selection 4. Why do you do not group the selection 4 together? You group feature selection together. Okay. Actually, you will try to group selection 4 as well. But the key is selection 4 for this particular case, feature selection and selection 4 are competing force. That means the selection should belong to feature selection or should belong to selection 4. Actually, if you calculate feature selection, you find feature selection getting together is, like a 6 standard deviation way. Maybe selection 4 is only 3 standard deviation way. In that sense, the feature selection wins. Okay, the winner takes all. The winner takes selection, then the feature selection, this occurrence, not even be counted, because it is really feature selection, not selection 4. Okay, selection 4 may appear in some other cases, but this one is a feature selection, then you get a 4. Okay, so that one we call document going back to do the segmentation. You take this document, you try to see which one getting together is more likely than the others. You do, we call document segmentation. You go back, you segment these phrases. Okay, then you get the true frequency. That means these feature selection and the selection 4, feature selection count as a true frequency. Selection 4 will not count here. Okay, you probably can see, like support vector is 100, the true frequency may be only 20, because the real true one is support vector machine is 80. Okay, you probably can see. You get this, something will count, something will not count. Okay. Then once you do this calculation, you will get the right counting, you will get right phrase. Okay. Yes? Okay, yeah. So about this raw frequency and true frequency, I just give a little more explanation. Okay. Of course, these numbers just fake the number. Okay. In the sense, I just try to explain the reason is this. Okay. If you find support vector machine in this particular sentence, support vector machine grew together really, really like a phrase. You acknowledge this. Then the support vector machine, you will get a more true frequency, because it's not only counting this one, it's counting many, many occurrences in the set of documents. Okay, you count many. We just did not show it. In the real case, there are about 2 million. Okay, such thing. You count and see how many times it occurs. But some you count, it will really count. It's true, because like support vector machine is true. In that sense, support vector is not independent, because it's nested into this support vector machine. Okay. For example, if you say United States of America, then America or United may not be independent. You will not count this, right? That's the same thing. You count support vector machine, then support vector in this case will not be counted. That's the reason support vector will drop significantly, because it's not counted. But a vector machine will drop even more, because if you go down there, you'll find in no case the vector machine is independent. No, you get it every time you get a vector machine, you get a support vector machine. Then support vector machine, the true frequency drops down to 0. You probably can see this. Okay. Then that's a right way to count. Then you get a right way to calculate what should be a good phrase. Okay. So besides counting, finding the true frequency, actually he uses 4. Of course, if you work this out, you probably will work out these different standards. This means how we judge the quality of phrases. One judgment is popularity. Popularity means the more popular one, you'll count more. You think they are more likely to be the good phrase. For example, if you find an information retrieval, you also find a cross-language information retrieval. Which one will rank the higher? the information retrieval will rank higher because information retrieval in the whole corpus, you get much more occurrences comparing to cross-language information retrieval. They occur less. In that sense, competing these two, the information retrieval will rank higher. Okay. The second one is concordance. That means what things are really getting together. For example, if you go down to the shop, you may find a powerful computer. You may never find strong computer. Okay, you find strong tea, but you barely find a powerful tea, right? So you go down to the coffee shop and say you want to get a strong tea, right? You never say I get a powerful tea. Right? So that's the things. Even they are similar. Strong and powerful could be similar, but people speak in a different way. That's the reason you get strong tea, you get active learning, but you never get a powerful tea, you never get learning classification. Actually, these are two things, even they are similar to get together, it's pretty rare, right? Then another one is informativeness. That means you try to rank the phrases. Some phrases occur everywhere. For example, you say this paper, or this paper says, or this paper claims, or this paper approves. Those things actually comes almost in every paper, okay? So then this is more like a stop word. You find the phrase is like a stop phrase, okay? So you just better, rule them out. This will not be ranked high because they do not pass much more valuable information, okay? The final one, the judgment called completeness, means if you find vector machine, almost every time you find vector machine, you also find a support vector machine. Then vector machine will not be counted as a complete phrase. The support vector machine is a complete phrase. Okay. So if you use this judgment together with those true frequency measure, you will get a very good phrase singled out. Okay. Once you single out, you can put those phrases into a revised LDA. Okay, we call phrase LDA. Revise the latent deletion allocation. I do not go this one in detail, just a typical topic modeling tools. Okay, so you probably can see this one. We show some interesting results. You can see is, remember, this software we do not rely on any previous knowledge. Okay, there's no anything putting inside like what it should be a phrase, what it should be this. Do not know even this is English. The software, you can think it came from Mars, knows nothing about the language, right? But it's still, you can see, doing this topic model, you did a very good job. For example, just look at this last topic 5. Of course, there are hundreds of topics, in this. The topic 5, you see Mexican food, chips and salsa, like food was good, hot dog, rice and beans. This actually likely is a Mexican food or something, similar. But you may say, okay, I found one bug. Food was good. That's not a phrase, that's a sentence, which is true because this one does not recognize any grammar, okay, because it's just getting things together, okay. So since you do not know the grammar, you cannot identify the short phrase, short sentence and phrases. That's the reason sometimes you get like food was good or something, like some part is really a sentence, like a stay at a hotel could be a verb phrase or something, but you still find them, okay. If you really want to get rid of this short sentence, you have to using NLP tool to do the parsing or some recognized part of speech, then you will throw those sentences away. Okay. But the nice thing is, since this one does not use any linguistic feature, actually it works not only for English. Okay. It works for many languages. Later we're going to show you. Actually, Ahmed knows Arabic. He tried Arabic once. Okay, the Arabic, he still found very good phrases. And we had a few students try the Chinese or Spanish. It works as well. Okay, it's very interesting. Then top mind also, you probably see it's pretty fast. In the sense, finding phrase takes very little time because you just do some counting. Okay, you think about the frequent pattern mining, you just count, lengths 1, lengths 2, lengths 3, lengths 4, probably very short lengths. You use a frequency as a threshold, you won't get a blow up. You won't try to find all the possible pairs. You find frequent 1, you pairwise them to find frequent 2. You find a frequent 2, you pairwise all the 3 frequent 2s, you get frequent 3. Okay? So it's pretty efficient algorithm. So he actually runs through the very large corpus, like, for example, this is the DBRP title, this is DBRP abstract. You get lots of things. Like if you use this PDRDA, essentially is you first try to finding all the possible combinations of length 2, length 3, those bigram, trigram model. You can see this one approximately is 95 days. Okay, and even use turbo topic is about 50 days. Then if you use LDA and TopMine, it will take much less time. But remember, LDA does not find phrases. It only finds single ones. Okay, this one actually is really doing phrase mining. You can see you take much less time. It runs actually approximately the same as LDA, because essentially underneath, besides phrase mining, it actually uses a phrase LDA combined together. Essentially, it's running LDA as a second part. Okay? But why you running LDA using second part even smaller than the original LDA? Okay. Actually, just phrase LDA, you take phrase as a unit. Comparing single words, you have less phrases. That's the reason you may run a little less time comparing to the single word LDA. Okay, so that's the reason. But the quality is far better. If you look at the phrase quality, this is just one of the quality judgment. You can see the TopMine quality is far better than the others. Okay. But this is not the whole story. This actually, even it was published in September 2015. The paper was accepted in 2014, just because the VRDB conferences, if you pass this year's deadline, they'll put your accepted paper presenting next year's conference. So the paper was accepted 2014, it was published 2015. After TopMine work, we got another group led by Jialu Liu, okay? And he actually got a general philosophy of this, okay? TopMine does not use any training, okay? That means there's no examples, no Wikipedia, no phrase, nothing, okay? Just blindly plowing through. What about, in many cases, human can give you some hint, okay? If human give you some training, can you do better? Obviously, you will think if human give you some feedback, your phrase quality can be even better. Okay, so what they are doing is they took the raw corpus. They can have additional input. The additional input is either you can input a general knowledge base like a Wikipedia, or you can input only a very small number of human labor data. Say this one is a good phrase, this is not. Okay. How much you should labor, they tried. They work out a magic number, say 300 examples. That means you give me 300 phrases, I say this one's good, this one's bad. Okay. So we just mark 300 as 1, 0. 1 is good, 0 is bad. That's it. Okay. Then they do the phrase mining, integrate with the classification, with the training. Okay. Then they can get a better quality phrase. Okay. They also do this phraser segmentation, going back to say to the document, see what is the phrases. Then they actually reduce those false counting. That means they got a real frequency rather than a raw frequency. Then they do the computation. Okay. The details I'm not going to introduce you here, but I will just show you the result. It's quite impressive. Okay. This one is they mined the CKDD titles and abstracts. That means they take the KDD conference title and abstracts. They try to mine to say what are the good phrases. Actually, you can see this one is sec phrase. They got the output. This one is a typical NLP method using name chunking. That means you try to find phrases using those chunking methods. Then these red ones is you can find using the new software, using sec phrase. The blue ones are the phrases found by chunking but not by sec phrase. Okay. Then you look at the differences. You just by human you can judge it. Time series or gene expression data, frequent subgraphs, or categorical attribute. Those are pretty popular use in data mining. You think about gene expression data or those things. Or frequent subgraph, which is very popularly discussed in data mining. But if you look at this, the blue ones, you find important problem, effective way, small set. This actually is not confined to KDD. You go down to any research literature, even you go down to physics or chemistry, you'll find important problems, effective ways, right? So this is not very smart. Essentially, it's almost like a stop phrase. So it's not really worth to rank them high. You probably can see it is pretty interesting to find something high quality. A very interesting one is both of them mainly rely on frequency. Okay, so it is sort of language independent. Okay, that means to some kind of amazement by many people, this phrase mining works for many languages. Okay, so this right one is the student mined Chinese one went to the Chinese Wikipedia. Okay. But it did not use anything, just use the 300, labored phrases. Then found this, you probably see, even you got into 9,000 something ranked. Of course, in the middle you skipped many. You still find very good phrases, like this one, thank you. Okay, you probably can see, you find a very good phrase. Okay. Like those Arabic one is what Ahmed mine from Quran, which essentially is the Bible of Islam. You probably can see those are the phrases. Of course, this should read from right to left. I know nothing about it. But, and he actually claimed this is a really good phrase. Okay, that simply says you can mine many different languages. Actually, this one, we put it open source after both papers got published. We put it in the open source. We did not realize that many people actually downloaded, many companies downloaded. I went to Microsoft Research Asia in July. The paper was published in June, okay? And I gave a talk. The people in the audience said, I tried your software, it worked very nicely. They started discussing the details on software. I did not realize just within a month, Microsoft people actually were trying it. And last month, I got an email from TripAdvisor, okay? They said they tried this one, really works really nicely, but they want to work with us to make it work for other 10 languages. Though simply says the TripAdvisor, they are very international. They really want to serve many different countries. They want like a German, Russian, Korean, Japanese, all the other languages to make it work. So it simply says it's very interesting. You can see it is useful. Okay. Now with this is just one step. You find phrases. But finding phrases, you want to construct networks, you really want to mine this one to get a real meaning. A very important thing is you need to do typing. What do you mean to do typing? Simply says, you grab, I probably can give you a detailed example like this one. Okay. You grab the phrase, you grab, this one is Yelp. That's Yelp review. Okay. Quite often you go to a new place, you want to go to restaurants or call a taxi or doing something, you go to Yelp to see which one is good, right? That's a very typical now. And this one said the best barbecue I've tasted in Phoenix or something like this. Okay. The problem is a human can read it. How about a machine? Machine probably will not know what is barbecue, right? And what is Phoenix. Okay, you go to dictionary, Phoenix may be a bird, right? The barbecue, maybe get some one, they say it's a machine which cooks, which can score meat or something. That actually doesn't help you understand, because here the best barbecue is not a machine you can eat, right? So it's a food you can eat. So if you can mark, say this barbecue is food, the Phoenix is a location, that will help a lot, okay? Because when you construct a network, you know you're eating something and not making a machine, right? And you're not seeing a bird, you're located in Phoenix or something. So that simply says we get phrases, we need actually to understand what it is. What is the type? Then we probably can understand the text far better. If we construct a network, we try to do mining, it will make sense. Right. Now we'll see how we do this. Okay. This one actually was done by another student called Xiang Ren. He is also a PhD student here. Publishing last year KDD conference. Okay. But it's very interesting. It's working collaborate with the Army Research Lab. They are so excited. They also download the software in their own machine. They are trying it. Okay. So let's look at why this one is pretty powerful. Okay. The first thing is what other people, like natural language processing, like text mining, what other people are doing. A lot of people are also doing the similar thing, but they rely on training, labeling. Simply says, if you want to know the barbecue is a food, Phoenix is a location, you need somebody's help, you need human help. How the human can help you? The general philosophy is this. Okay. If you give me, suppose, 2013 New York Times, okay, what I will do is I would randomly select 500 documents. I go down to those experts or human. Say, you do the detailed labeling. You say, this one actually is the city, this one is the president, this one is the location, this one is time, or something like this. Okay. Essentially, is for major time, like a person, location, organization, those things, you need to label it. You need to explicitly label 500 documents. And if you want to link to the web or to the Freebase or to Wiki, you need 20,000 queries. Okay, that means you need to answer 20,000 queries. Then you build everything up. That's a lot of work. The problem is even worse. If you give me 2013 New York Times, now you give me 2015 New York Times. Actually, I cannot make it work because 2013, 2015, the news may change quite a lot. Okay. Then I have to relabel it. You have to give me another 500 documents to label it. Otherwise, I'll make a lot of mistakes. Okay. So you can see the human involvement is just too much, and it's too expensive. Okay. Not to say now there are Yelp, there are tweets. Those are very tough problem for people even to do label. Okay. Because you label this tweet, that tomorrow something changed. Okay. Then it may not work at all. Okay. So that simply says it's not scalable. Okay. And not good for the social media, new media, or go to different science domain, like go into medical science or physical science. People do not have that many, chances to label all things. Okay. So what we want is we do not want somebody came from Mars to label it because they do not know the Earth's stuff. Right? So we do rely on something, but we rely on what we call distant training. Distant training means we put a Wikipedia or Freebase there. Okay, that's the one everybody will reference. Okay, you get 2013 New York Times, we go down there. You give me 2015, say Wall Street Journal, we also go down there. Okay, So we don't need a human to explicitly put this corpus, you try to label it. Okay. So that's a general idea. We want to have more scalable, more general solution. Okay. And I'm going to show you the general framework because later we're going to go down detail into the technology. The philosophy is this. We got text corpus. We got wiki. We actually rely on more processed wiki called freebase. Why freebase? Just a freebase, you give me, say, Obama. Okay. Of course, wiki may have Obama's webpage. It said that this is U.S. president. Of course, it's nice. But if we get a freebase, we already said Obama, then we link to president, U.S. president, then link to politician, link to person. You already got lots of typed information. So this is the general information, but it's nicely typed already. You don't have to do additional processing. So this is good. So these are the knowledge base existing. Now you go down to the website, you find a DBpedia, you find Yago, you find Freebase. There are many things already. Okay. You rely on this. But the problem is many things in the newspaper or in the research document or Europe tweets are not linkable. Okay, we tried it. We see 7% of the corpus, the phrase you find, are linkable. But 93% not linkable. Okay, you rely on this link. Just relying or fully rely on this link is disaster. Okay, it doesn't work. But the interesting thing is you can use computation method to compute and propagate. Okay, and that's the general philosophy. Essentially, is we take those documents, doing phrase mining. After the phrase mining, we based on something already linked to something not linked. Then we do this propagation. Okay, the detailed propagation. Later, I'm going to introduce you. Yes? Oh, okay. Yeah, the question is what is linkable, what is not linkable. Okay, linkable means this phrase. For example, say Washington, D.C. Okay, this phrase, you will be able to find an entry in the freebase. They do have Obama, Barack Obama, they have Washington, D.C., you find it. Okay. But you put your name there, maybe you go down to freebase, you cannot find it. That's not linkable. Okay. The same thing, there are many, many things that may not be linkable. Okay. So that's why we say 7% are linkable, 93% not linkable. Okay. But moreover, sometimes it's linkable, it linked to many things. It causes ambiguity. Just give you a simple example. Washington. Okay. Washington definitely is linkable. But Washington can link to many things. It can link to a state, link to a U.S. president, link to, like a city like Washington, D.C., link even to U.S. government. Okay. Because Washington versus Moscow, actually Washington is representing U.S. government. It's not a person. Okay. So the problem is, at what situation this Washington means what? Okay. You try to understand, like I said, a barbecue could be a machine, right? A cooking machine. But barbecue could be food you can eat. So that's a very different thing. But people, when they say it by context, you understand it. But not a machine, not a computer. Okay. So you want a computer to understand, to distinguish the right type. You need to do a lot of computation. Okay. So what we see the challenge, one is domain restriction, means not many things are not linkable, like tweets Europe, you find many things are not linkable. Another challenge is ambiguity. Like Washington, every time you mention Washington, it may mean something different. You have to resolve it. Okay. So the third one is you try to link them using some other phrases. But other phrases just have too many ways to say the same thing. Okay. So it's hard to find patterns. Okay. Just give a simple example. We took Japan's tsunami nuclear accident, I think it's in 2011. I believe everybody knows that. Okay, Japan got a huge tsunami. They destroy not only city, they destroy the nuclear plant, right? Then later, get a nuclear problems. And you see how the journalists just report just the same thing. They report it in a very different way. Just think about this. You see here they said the magnitude 9.0 quake caused a widespread devastation in Kasenuma City. Okay, so you can see this caused widespread devastation. But for the same reason, they say another journalist may say tsunami that ravaged northeastern Japan last Friday. Okay, that's ravaged. The third one said the resulting tsunami devastated Japan's northeast. Actually, if you look at these three phrases, the verb phrases, they actually mean the same thing, ravage or devastate or something, but they say it differently. The problem is how human can link this together. Human has no problem because you know a lot of English already. But machine, the computer, try to say actually what they cause devastation in some place that's a location. Okay? And ravage something that's also location. Okay? Or devastate is also location. How could you know that? Okay? So that's the problem. Actually, it's pretty open. So the general solution later we're going to introduce is essentially called class type. It's a very interesting algorithm. Is this. You take the sentence, you break them down into different parts. Okay. This could be entity surface name. Some could be relation phrases. Some could be the entity mentions. They mention, say, Washington in many different ways. Okay. Then we can, based on their position, their relationship, build such graph. Okay. With such graph, the interesting thing is, if you just based on one sentence, you can build a graph. But you have thousands or millions of such sentences. You build such graph in a very sophisticated but very big one. The very big one has one advantage is somebody can help the others. Okay. Somebody got a linked. Remember, we say 7% linked. Those linked one can help those unlinked one. Why they can help? Just because they almost have the similar way to say it. You think about it. If you suppose you say Obama has something, Obama is a person, then you may have many, many similar things with Obama. Like you eat breakfast, you go to some places. So if we use those many frequent things, somehow you, Obama or Hillary, all these things linked together, so finally you will find actually these are the people. Okay, then you are the people. Even you are not in Wiki. So they find you are a person. Right? So that's the way you can link it, you can type it. You say, this is a person, this is not location. Because you share the other things with those linked attributes. Okay. So that's the reason actually we can find the type propagation and the phrase, relation phrase can be clustered. Okay. And the type can be propagated. Then finally you take this one into an optimization loop. You will be able to find the right phrase, the right type. Okay. But the detailed technology, I'm going to introduce it later. That means I just give you a briefing. But the results is very interesting. I probably can show you this. The first thing is you need to generate a candidate. The candidate, actually, you will be able to grab many things to say whether this is verb, this is a phrase. You do need, at this point, okay, you need phrase mining, you need part of speech tagging. Okay, you need NLP to help. You need part of speech tagging. Of course, that means, okay, this one is not so easy to directly transport into Chinese or Japanese. Okay, you need a little more involved. If you want to understand Chinese, you have to use Chinese part of speech. You understand Spanish, you have to use Spanish part of speech tagging, right? But the general philosophy is once you do this, you will be able to grab the high recall those possible phrases. They can link together. And we put the whole thing into an optimization framework. But I'm not going to discuss it now here. But you just know the function was decomposed into several parts. One part is optimized by type propagation. Another one by mention correlation. The third one is multi-view relation phrase clustering. Okay, these functions you can optimize them. Okay, then I probably can show you some results. It's pretty exciting. Okay, you probably can see we really took 2013 New York Times, which is 100,000 document containing those basic types: event, person, location, organization. We took Yelp, which 230,000 documents containing the types like food or job or something. And tweets contain also some. Take those bulky documents. What our general philosophy is, we know there's only less than 7% mention can be mapped to free-base entities. That means you can link to free-base. Okay? But the others are not linkable, but you want to finally recognize them. You get a high precision, high recall. So the general measurement is using F1. F1 is a harmonic mean of precision and recall, right? So I think everybody knows that already. So we compare with quite a few known algorithms. For example, the pattern algorithm was done by Stanford pattern-based learning algorithm. Like a FIGAR was done by University of Washington, the natural language group. It's called distant supervised sequence labeling method trained on the wiki corpus. So there are many other methods, okay, very well-known methods. But the interesting thing you probably can see is this. This is the class type. This pattern was done by Stanford. This FIGAR by University of Washington. There are many others. Okay. Then you look at the New York Times, the F1 measure, Yelp F1 measure, and Twit's F1 measure. You probably find it's a very big difference. Like you look at this one, actually the New York Times, FIGAR did pretty good. You can see get a 0.88, but we can get 0.93. And if you look at Yelp, then FIGAR probably did it pretty poor, but this one can get 0.8 because Yelp and many things are not linkable. Okay. The tweets, you probably also see a jump. Of course, tweets so far we still got it only 0.45 because tweets is more difficult, need more study. But that shows, other groups, they already work more than, decades, I should say. But why this method can have some edge is you are not relying on one document. Okay? One document cannot do much. But you get so many documents, they cross-link together. Okay? This one is not linkable, but in the other documents it's linkable. Then you actually using this propagation, using clustering, finally can make them linkable. Okay. Even you look at, I probably should show you this phrase. Even you compare, the previous one was comparing those things we are not giving explicit labeling. This one actually we compare with the typical one, human do explicit labeling. Okay. This is a Stanford NER. Okay, it's very popular used. What they do is they do explicit human labeling. 500 documents, 20,000 queries, they do this labeling. But even this explicit labeling compared with class type, you probably see there is big gap. The simply says you can do better even the other side using human labeling. We do not use human. We still can do better. Okay. So that, of course, you can see tweets, they do explicit labeling. We do not do any labeling tweets, which the gap is close, right? But that's, of course, just one research paper. We still need to do much more to get it done even better. But it just give you the hope is if you have lots of documents, you rely on them, you do collective analysis to do typing, you will get something really good. Okay. Actually, when I give this keynote speech in ACR, there are lots of very famous researchers there. It's a top conference in computational linguistics. And some people actually ask me, see, how I can comprehend your result. We did it so many years, we got this far. How could you jump over, you just using one algorithm can beat all these? Actually, I said the philosophy is different. Okay? Because a lot of NLP people, they took one document, they try to beat it to death. Okay? They try to just analyze this document. If we took only one document, we probably would be dead. Okay? Because we would have no way to link so many things. But we are taking hundreds of thousands of documents. They got to cross-link together. Okay? It will help. Just give a simple example. During the talk, when they raised this question, I gave one example. I said, suppose in Afghanistan, there's one, say, U.S. journalist who was captured by Taliban. Okay, put in a cell. There's no English anymore. They just give you the local, say, Darcy. Okay, there's one of the similar to Arabic language. They give you the newspaper. Okay, the first day you probably say, I'm complete dead. I read those newspapers, it doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, you just give it up. But if you were locked for a year, every day they give you newspapers. Things may be different. Because if you are very smart, you probably will figure out those linkages. Okay, you have so many documents in front of you, you got enough processing time and power. You may finally figure it out. You may be able to understand probably 50 to 80% of them. I think this may happen. Okay. You think about there are some people smuggling into U.S. They know nothing about English, but after they did not get a teacher, but after a while they could speak, they could understand. Why? They cross-link many things, right? So that's the way you can learn. If you just the first day they give you a newspaper, you could not. One paper doesn't work, okay? But 100,000 may work. Okay? So that's the philosophy. You think about it. This computer. Can run very fast. It's like your brain, right? So it can build links. So that's the philosophy. You actually look at this, you can see that's the interesting thing is using class type, you will be able just to look at this barbecue. You'll be able to see barbecue is food, Phoenix is location, pulled pork sandwich, this phrase is another food, coleslaw is food, baked bean is food. But if you look at the other one, like this one, Sam Taggle, you just say pork sandwich. It's not a pulled pork sandwich, just pork sandwich. It's location. Okay, this is ridiculous, right? So you probably can see there are some mark you'll find it's a joke, but that's a real output, right? So you probably can see, it's not easy, but it's doable. Okay. The interesting thing you probably can see is how the relation phrases are clustered. Okay. It's not clustered based on exactly the same meaning. It's clustered based on they can infer the same type. Okay. Just give you an example. Recruited by, employed by, wanted hired by. These three phrases we cluster together as one. Why we cluster this together as one? Because they infer the same type. After this recruited by, employed by, wanted hired by, that part must be employer, like Google or Facebook or anything, right? So actually during my talk, there was one person really raised this question, said, you look at your result. Recruited by, wanted hired by are different things. Recruited by, you already got this guy into a company. Wanted hired by, just you want. You haven't got this guy in yet, which is perfect. That's completely right understanding. But here we do this clustering. It's not because they are exactly the same thing. They getting together infer the same type. We do type-based clustering because our task is to do typing. It's not to recognize whether they have exactly the same semantic meaning, right? So that's one thing. Okay. The last one is if you try to understand text, we need to find some similar semantic meaning to grab them together. Okay. This one actually was not done by us, was done by another group in Microsoft Research. Actually, one of the co-authors is currently a student in this class, but he generated 2 really great papers. He already in the graduate program here. Okay. But I probably want to show you why this one is very interesting. Okay. That will help you to further, understand and to do this text mining in a powerful way. Okay. Just give you a simple example. You want to find similar things. You want to find similar relationships. Just give you one big corpus called PubMed. Anybody knows PubMed? How many people know PubMed? Yeah, we got lots of people. Actually, PubMed is a medical publication database. Okay, they collected lots of research papers related to related to bioinformatics, medical science, clinical medical science, or animal science. And there are many things actually in this big repository. How many entries they have? I cannot give you the exact number, but it's around 30 million papers in this repository. Lots of research papers. Actually, some people told me the incremental, like every year, new research paper adding to this database is about 1 million. Okay. Every year, a researcher got a 1 million paper put in. They are all medical sciences. Okay. The interesting things, you may want to find some relationships. Just give you an example. Gene and disease. That's very important. For now, we do personalized medicine. If somebody gets cancer, you want to treat them for different people for same cancer, like a lung cancer. Okay. They may treat it differently. Why? Because your cancer cell may have different genetic structures. Okay. Then if you treat right way, it will extend your life. If you treat it in the wrong way, you treat the drug, it does not really have any response to your cell. Essentially, it kills you quicker, right? Because it doesn't kill the cancer cell, but it kills a lot of normal cells. Right? So for many people, those things is only one chance, right? If either, for example, you suppose you got breast cancer, if you use the right drug, you probably can recover completely. You use the wrong drug, it may kill you actually much quicker. So try to identify gene and disease or drugs. It's critically important. There are so many research results. We call personalized medicine or precision medicine. That's exactly what we want to do, right? But the problem is there are millions of articles. Who will have time to read all those articles? Even they are very valuable. Okay. We need tools. Okay. So we need tools to find what the gene is closely related to this disease or drugs or something. So you, at least for medical researchers, you will help them to study, find the right drug or right disease or right gene. Then they can do the right diagnostics or treatment. Okay. But the thing is, in text, you actually have a lot of such instances. You think about it. One way is if you think about they are all networks, this part could be disease, this could be gene, this could be drug. Okay. So how do you know they are linked together so closely? We are studying like a linkage. You may use this to do like some kind of embedding. Okay. I probably just give you a general philosophy. Later we are going to get into the detail when we study those papers. Anybody heard Google has word2vec? Anybody knows? Yeah, we do have some people raise hands. Google actually in the last several years, I forgot which year, maybe just 2 years ago, okay, developed a very powerful, you can say, deep learning method. Actually, it's using neural networking in some way. You try to find these words you can put into the vector, okay? And taking those vectors, you will be able to find similar words, similar phrases, or those similar things. And it becomes very powerful, okay? And actually, this one is sort of along the line, is doing network embedding. That means you take a network based on their neighbors. They may have an immediate neighbor. They may that means like the 6 and 7. Maybe they in the occurrences. You just look at those nodes occurrences. You may find they link together very frequently. You already have a heavy link here. But this 5 and 6 may not have exact link, but they share lots of neighbors. If you share lots of neighbors, you may be similar. You may be linked together in a close way. They actually they explore first order proximity. That means they structure-wise, you see they already close linked together. They also explore second order proximity. That means they share many common neighbors in the network. Then they do this network embedding. I'm not going to introduce you now, but you know there are some very powerful techniques. Those are all just discovered, published in 2015. Okay. But using this, okay, the interesting thing is you can calculate something you know, you will be able to infer something not known at all if they share similar connections, similar kinds of connections. Okay, just give a simple example. Suppose you already know breast cancer is somewhat linked to this gene called BRCA1, BRCA1. Okay, if you know medical science, this name was somehow linked with breast cancer because you see BR is breast, CA is cancer. Okay, they know this gene play a lot of roles in this. That means if you really have this gene structure, you probably want to do some careful prevention, right? So if you know in the literature you find these two are close linked together, can you infer, for example, this small cell cancer, you may find a similar pattern linkage, you may find another gene maybe play an important role with this small cell cancer, small cell lung cancer. Okay. If you can do this kind of linkage, you use very large corpus like a PubMed. You may be able to find something the medical scientists may not even notice it. You'll find new things, okay? New drugs or new things. And that actually will have lots of important, impacts. Just give you a simple example. I went to the medical school of UCLA last month in December, early December. The professor hosted me, got very excited with this because she says actually she is working on the heart disease, cardiovascular, those heart problems. She actually says people who are doing those drug treatment did not realize the cardiologist to give you the drug, say, I can help you on the heart. But this person may have other problems, may got some cancer or some other problems. They use another kind of drugs, okay? And the oncologist give you another drug. Okay, these two drugs, they did not know they actually have interaction. They may cause some effects you did not expect. So that means if you go down to the research literature, you find this drug actually may not be good for these heart patients, probably you can save lives, right? So you can change to another drug. Those side effects, how do you find it? The doctor doing the cancer research probably did not take care that much on the heart or vice versa. Okay. You may find in the literature because some people doing research, they even work on mice, they may find those links, right? So that's the thing, with millions of research literature, nobody wants to read that many, right? So you probably can see this is just a research result we got. We took 10% of PubMed abstract. Okay, then you probably see you will find similar things using this network embedding. You get a T cell. You will find those are the things similar to T cell. You give this drug. You may find these are the similar things related to this drug. Okay. I can even give you something a little more magic. It's just we mine it from the data is this. Suppose you get breast cancer. You say, another example is the BRCA1. You say, this is the example. No, I'm not going to look at the breast cancer. I just look at another another disease. Okay, suppose this is a disease called acute myeloid leukemia. Leukemia is a kind of blood cancer, right? You take this. This is output. This output means these are the genes which somehow have the similar relationship with leukemia, rather like a BRCA1 link with breast cancer. Okay. I'll give you another example. Suppose we still look at the BRCA1 breast cancer. I took another gene, okay, just to say ALK. Say ALK, what's the disease related to this? Okay, just going down to the text, you will find those things. Okay. Then you probably see this is a pretty magic. Of course, many things medical science already know it. But if you do the mining, get into this PubMed, you may find some relationship originally people missed. Okay. And you will be able to find a lot of very interesting things. For example, just give you a simple example. Here you probably say aspirin. You took aspirin probably many times. Then they may link to this one. This is called peptic ulcer bleeding. And this one, I even do not know what it is. But you know the ulcer bleeding, if you keep taking aspirin, you get these problems. Right? Probably many people already know it. So you probably can see these are the side effects of the drug. You will be able to mine it. Okay? And actually, this student even mined one to compare with the Cell, which is a top journal published in 2015. Just a few months later, he did these experiments. He found using embedding method, comparing to the Cell paper method, the result actually is very similar. That means that this is a new research result. This is what he mined from the text. Okay. So that simply says this actually becomes very interesting how to take the network, embedding, and a phrase, all these together, you get a very exciting things. Okay. Actually, the student himself in the winter workout, another paper, is taking the heterogeneous network MetaPath, using the MetaPath to guide this network-based embedding. He found some, and he competed with his 2015 paper and showed better result. Okay. So that just give you, the idea. There are many things you can contribute. Okay. I just want to bring you to the frontier much quicker. Okay. Then you will be able to. I always believe, anybody I bring you to the frontier quicker, you start from the higher end, you will reach, to the, you will create. Okay, that's the researcher comparing to the student learner. The major difference is you just possess different levels of knowledge. The student, like in the high school, probably got something Newton time got. Okay. And you learn something closer. The researcher, like a PhD student, they just learn what things people are doing now. Then you go ahead and move on. You created something new. Okay, that's always possible. Okay. So I just used the 2 additional lectures, but to give you the general philosophy on what we are going to learn, what we are going to create. Okay. So starting next lecture, I'm going to really get back to our step-by-step, starting from the network, introduction to network, to heterogeneous network, then to text mining. Okay. So finally, I should say is we started this sign up. Okay. Make sure you sign up. Okay. Then finally, the sign up sheet will pass back to me. I'll ask TA to input it. Okay. Thank you.